How you doing? I'm Yiggy. I'm a compulsive eater, and like all of you, I weigh and measure my food off the gray sheet plan. I write it down. I call it into my beautiful sponsor, and in between the meals, this is what is the pleasure of my life is going to meetings, participating in my own recovery, and listening to share with the others on their journey as well. I love that we have such fantastic storytellers because each story is our own. So who can tell our story better than we can tell it ourselves? The highest I was about between 270 and 275. When I came into program, it was the combination of OA and gray sheet. I never did understand. I didn't understand at first why the name gray sheet, because the last thing I wanted to do was buy anything gray, black, brown, or cranberry, because that seemed to be their favorite colors for bigger women. And it never was a really good what do you call it, a good fit. It was never nice materials. I like now I wear things that are soft and form to me. And what else can I say? And if they're soft and cuddly and whatnot, then that's all I want. And I like beautiful colors now. Gray would have been my color, but gray sheet is definitely my color. Gray sheet is not a color for me. It's a way of life. And it just happens to be called gray, but it could be called anything, but gray works for me. When I started, in a way, I was still living in Brooklyn, and I went to Maimonides Hospital, and they had a meeting on Friday nights at 8:10, which I thought was kind of weird, but that's okay. Whatever it was, I was just happy to be there. I got a book. A friend gave me a book, said Daily Meditations for Compulsive Overeaters. I was a little insulted because she was not too thin herself. But the fact that she gave it to me, I said, thank you. She got it off of bookshelf. Anyway, that was the best gift she could have given me because I came into that meeting. Everybody was a different size. I looked around. Everybody was a different size. I couldn't believe it. And and there was like almost a 50-50 thing with 50% of them were being males and 50% being females. And after the meeting, I said, where do I get a sponsor? And they said, well, just wait, she's going to sponsor you. And I looked over, she was a really big woman and she was talking to somebody. So I stood there patiently and quietly. And then when she came over, she gave me a big hug. She knew I had been beat down and I looked beat up too. So she was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Gorgeous skin, gorgeous clothes. She was a big girl, but she wore it well, and she really taught me a lot, and she sat down with me and went through the whole booklet, and I follow suit. Whenever I have a new person, I sit down with them and we go through the whole thing, page by page, column by column, because it's just too important not to take that kind of care with them. And then when I take it seriously, the one who's wanting what we have is taking it seriously too. They may lose it later on, but who cares? At least you got the beginning. Once you got that bug in your bonnet, it's very hard not to acknowledge that B. So I lost 67 pounds in 5 months, and then I sort of moved to Long Island. But I always attended a lot of meetings in the five boroughs and in Brooklyn and Queens. And wherever they said, let's go there, let's go here, I was ready. I was ready. And I was working full time, and I had I guess I was in between babies. I had one, and it wasn't time for the other one. They're 4 years apart. And let's see. I cried a lot by myself. I wouldn't let anybody see me cry. I go in the room and with my stash and everything. And when the boys were a little bit bigger, because my husband and I worked opposite tours, we I
10
would just
minutes left.
scream. Oh, thank you. I'd just scream out there, oh, we're gonna do this now. Go brush your teeth, blah, 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 blah. And they would do it. They'd say, okay, okay. And they would go to bed by themselves. And then if I could lumber out of that bed, I would go and kiss them goodnight, put them in under the covers and whatnot. They were really good like that. The little one was too much like me. He used to always want to be smelling my breath and looking me in the eye because he said it's just like he could tell I was out of control. And and uh and so he said to me one time, Ma, if I don't get this answer right, are you gonna be mad at me like you are Brandon? I never spanked my kids ever again after that. Ever, ever, ever. Nothing would get me to do anything like that again. And I was in therapy too. And she said, only thing you teach kids when you hit them is that big people can hurt you. And I said, well, I've been hurt enough, and I definitely don't want them to grow up with that stigma um too. This is a picture of me in Las Vegas. Our nephew, my husband's nephew, was um was living there, and he begged us to come, and of course we said sure, he's paying the way. And that's right in front of the Tropicana. But I was big then. That's in Las Vegas. This is in Georgia. This is my sister. She's no longer with us. She she um she's the one who resisted being a diabetic. She told me, I told her, I think you may have sugar from the symptoms she was giving me. And she told me I ain't got no damn sugar. And she did. And she didn't die from the diabetes. She died from an accident, but the complications were the diabetes. She she never fully recovered, and then she passed away. And once they took her leg away, I knew that she was not going to want to live, not even with even a prostate or anything. Anyway, this is with my at an awards dinner, and that was one of the teachers that was getting honored, and I was the honorer, and we had a good time. This is me. I live in Freeport. We have a big parade on Memorial Day, and that's me out in the. You know, um, I usually walked along and I took pictures of everybody. And so that's me walking along, taking pictures of everybody. After I got out of the academy, my husband took this picture of me just before I graduated. Now, it's nothing special, but it's that was exactly what they did. They pushed me into shape. Whether you like it or not, you're gonna be okay. And this is my baby son and his girlfriend, his ex-wife, and me in the middle. So I'm up and down, mostly up. No, not too much down. I'm so grateful for having my absence day January 7th, 2019, because of all of you, I get to hold all of me, meaning that I can touch any part of my body I want to. Before, that was a stretch, and that hurt, and I don't have that anymore. Right now, I'm home recuperating from I had what do you call, a hip replacement on the right, and it was only a couple of weeks ago, and I'm already walking. I'm already talking, and I'm bending, and I'm doing things. I haven't fallen or no dizziness, no nausea. I had 2 weeks of um what do you call it, a physical therapy, and now I'm going to be going into a regular rotation. But in the meantime, and they said you got to use this thing, and I said, well, why? They said, well, because it'll keep your gait steady. And so I use it, but I really don't feel I need it, and I'm extremely careful. I haven't fallen in at least 10, 12 years. I fell once by a CVS. I just slipped off of the curve because I turned. You can't turn and try to do something like that. That's where I learned that that's a no-no. And so I haven't fallen since then. I didn't get hurt, but I was embarrassed to tears. So,
5 minutes left.
okay, my I have the same sponsor that I've had since I came in here and came out here to Long Island. Once we got together, I stayed close to the herd. Whatever she said was that was what I was going to be doing. If I had a food change, I call her first. If I don't get her, I call somebody else with 90 days of current back-to-back abstinence, and I ask them, what I should do, and I do it because on my own power got me through all these pictures except for the last one. And I'm grateful that my sister did pass away, and my oldest sister passed away. The oldest one was 8 years older than me, and she was always skinny, and she always had stuff in her pocketbook. So I would sometimes just sneak up, and if I needed something sweet, I would go in her pocketbook and get it. But she always had so much in there, she never noticed it. So I was a thief and a liar. My neighbors, I still keep in touch with from when I was a little girl. And they said when I was 5, I came over to their house. I knocked on the door. I asked, could I come in? And I went into these people's house, went into the kitchen, sat down, and asked her what had she baked that day. And she always had something. And to this day, we still keep in touch. They live in the next town over, and I said, why would you want to keep in touch with me? Because I was a pain in the butt. I was always running around and doing things. The thing that really made me happy was the clarity of mind that I get from doing the gray sheet. I've been in AWOLs, I've been to retreats. I sponsor 3 people, and they sponsor me. Sometimes I'm wearing the hat, sometimes they're wearing the hat, and we just have this appreciation and respect, and they keep me very humble. So they said, so if I tell them something, I start talking a little crazy, they say, okay, this is what we're going to do. The minute I hear that, I know I'm beat. I am beat. And if I have extra assignments or something to do, I do it. And I'm really grateful for the friendships I have here. I've been on adventures with so many people in this program, and I know there's going to be more. There's going to be more because I just enjoy doing that. Go on adventures with people. You go to the retreats. You take a walk with somebody you never really paid much attention to, and when you come back, you go, "Wow, I'm so glad that I went with her," or "I'm so glad I went with him." We stay up late. We act crazy. We do arts and crafts, and we just have a good time. We have a good time together, and I can't ask for a better life. It's a life that I would have never have imagined I'd have. I'm living in the same house for quite a few years, and I still have people that just come over. And I was like, yeah, why not? Why not? And I'm in 3 different programs. All of them I have to deal with every day: the food, the money, and the clutter. Those are the 3 things I have to deal with every day. And I'm grateful, grateful, grateful for the tools in each program. They have distinctive tools, but the best part about them is they work, and you can work for somebody else and do it for them too. And I'm just so grateful that I'm not in pain. They would tell me I was going to be in excruciating pain. Wait, wait, you just wait. You're going to get it. I got it for the first couple of days, but after that, each day got a little better, a little better. Same thing with the food. When you eat good, when you do good, you can do even better. What does it say? When you know better, you do better. And that's what my sponsor was always saying to me. And I said, okay, I got it. I got it. And it's been a happy existence. I have 2 boys. One's married, the other one's divorced. And I have no grandchildren, but if that's going to be God's will for me, I probably will get some in the near future. But in the meantime, I just enjoy being an abstinent woman. One of my friends told me an abstinent woman can get through anything. And I agree, you really can. I have climbed over fences. I've climbed over underneath houses. I've done all kinds of crazy things to do my job. But I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to crawl nowhere. I can stand up and walk straight, you know, if you ever read The Freedoms, that's one of the things that I love the most about it. It's like pulling you forward in a positive posture. And I want to do this more often. I want to see what I can do. What else do you want me to do? And
It's
I
time.
recommend, okay, my time's up. Okay, I'll just say that I came here on my knees and I remain here on my knees. I do a lot of praying when I get up in the morning and when I go to bed at night. And thank you so much for all of you. And thanks for letting me come. Thanks for inviting me.